literally, I have been traveling around for almost 3 months now, and all over Morocco, from Casa, Agadir, Ouarzazate, Zagoura, Marzouqa, and Rashida, Fez, Rabat, and now I'm in Tangier. Okay, the reason I'm doing this vlog here because wherever the places I just mentioned, wherever I went, I saw a lot of young African. Literally every single place I see a lot of young Africans, and especially in Sfax, in Tunis, but here in all other main cities. So they come here because they want to cross this ocean to reach that island over there, and it's not easy. And the European community is putting pressure on Spain to kick those African out, sub-Saharan African out. And Morocco has been really nice enough. They push them out, but they stay in the country. So they are everywhere. So now they become stranded. So my question is, I've been thinking about this vlog for a long time, because I'm trying to put it in the best way, because I don't want the troll to antagonize me or something like that. But what I'm gonna say is everything in the world is image, really image. The African, when they come here, they get stranded. They don't have money anymore to go to Spain, so they get stranded here. They get stranded in Tunis, so they become very desperate. And rather than going back home and recoup and come back, no, they want to do a whole kind of job here so they can get some money and push on. But to be honest, what kind of a job are they doing? That is my question. You know, because the reason I'm saying the image is everything, because some jobs they do here is very embarrassing, especially a sub-Saharan African. You know, one person does something, it reflects every community here. And I would like to know how the other black sub-Saharan African here who have a decent job, they're doing their life easily and nicely, and people who are desperate here, you know, they do not only they do whole kind of work, they're begging on the street, literally stopping the car on the street. I've seen them everywhere. But the Africans, since you cannot talk to them, you cannot ask them any question, the minute they see you with a camera, they have really bad attitude toward you, so you cannot even film. My filming is not to expose any of them, but to know their stories. If you wanna tell us your story, I come to you and talk to you, but most of the time they don't wanna know anything, so I turn my camera. Anyway, I approach, you know, I go around and see them. They do whole kind of job around here. I had a lot of people asking me when I tell them I am from Cote d'Ivoire. They said, "Oh, what's wrong? What's going on in sub-Saharan Africa?" I said, "But what do you mean?" They're telling me that you got so many people, they're running away from sub-Saharan Africa to come here to make a living. Without knowing those people, they don't come here, they just want to go. But when they get stranded, so they're here, they're obliged to do whole kind of dirty, some job they do, I wonder how much they're getting paid. And the job is so demeaning and so bad, the Moroccan and Tunisians themselves will never do those kind of jobs. And in my understanding, most of those people are not from very poor background in West Africa, because I did talk to some of them off camera. You know, when I suggested, why don't you go back home and recoup and come back here, they say, oh, hell no, they cannot do that. Because in their family's eyes, they're going to Europe, that's where they gotta go. They're determined to go. And one time, I was in Tunis, I was walking around on the beach like this. Suddenly, I saw this young man standing on the fence, like this fence kind of thing, leaning and looking out to the ocean. So I approached him, I said, hi. He was hesitant, you know, to talk to me, but I asked him where he's from. He said he was from Ivory Coast. I said, Habibi, I'm from Ivory Coast too, and it happened we are from the same city in the same neighborhood in Ivory Coast. Suddenly, I don't know him, I don't know his family, but I know where he's from. So he kind of relaxed a bit, so we talked. I said, what are you doing here? He said he'd been here for almost 2 years trying to go to Europe, but the thing is he came about $6,000 to $7,000, and the middleman stole his money. And that is the problem across the board. They bring literally some of them from 5,000 to 10,000 in the bar, come here, they want to go to Europe and make a decent living, because those are 10,000 or 5, 6, 7,000 is for the transportation. My question is to you, the audience: what can you do with $7,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 in Africa? I mean, that's a huge money back in sub-Saharan Africa. You can set up a whole business, but no. They don't want that, because they want more. They think by taking 10, 5, 6, 7, 10,000, you go to France, you go to Italy, you go to Spain, you're gonna quadruple that in a year. That is a lie, because we keep lying to ourselves all the time. People who are living in Europe, who are living in America, they project to African like they're doing fine. So that makes a lot of young Africans want to get out of the country, even though they have a decent life over there. Nope, they just want to go across the port, across the ocean like that, and most of them died and tried to cross the board. Anyway, coming back to this young man, and I asked him about why did you come here. He said, well, literally he's not from a poor family, because the reason he really left, because his parents, his dad has 2 wives, and his siblings are doing very well, and his sibling from his mom's side don't have anything, and he feel like they're not sharing the wealth that they have toward them. So he told his mom, he promised his mom, I'm gonna go to Europe and change your life. So he brought almost $6,000, and the middleman who took his money to the boat disappeared with his money, so he got stranded. Now he doesn't have even nowhere to sleep and nowhere to eat. He's here on that fence day in and day out. And he says some old man will pass, give him 5 dinar, 6 dinar, 10 dinar, and he doesn't, and that's why he's living on, hands out. I said, but why don't you go home and equip and come back? He said, hell no. Because for him, going home is a failure. And he said everything is in the hand of God, because his roommate, who was from Ivory Coast, also made it to Italy 2 months earlier. So hopefully he's waiting for his turn. By prayer, maybe God will answer his prayer, and he can make it to the sea. I said, but dude, how long do you think it's gonna take you to scoop $5,000-6,000 in Tunisia? He said he doesn't know, but it's on hand of the God. So what they end up doing, we call it here aliomiya, or in the Gulf state they call it aliomiya. That means daily labor. So they will come in the stand and the corner shop. The Moroccan and the Tunisian will pick them up, refurbish their house or clean whatever they have, and give them a peanut for that. Do they even know the history of Arab uprising? Maybe they don't know, they don't have a clue, they don't even want to know, because they're so desperate, they just want to go on the sea. So for those people who didn't know, Arab the life was so tough with this Tunisian fruit seller. He literally poured a gasoline on himself, burning himself to life, because he kept being harassed by a place when he was selling his fruit to make a dime to live. So the police would harass him for pushing him around. Oh, you can't sell it, you need a permit, you need this, you need that. He got so pissed off. He said, what's worth of living? He poured gasoline on himself and burned himself to ground. So, and at that moment, Arab Spring first, I was in Morocco here, actually was in Rabat. But that time, I don't know whether it was before YouTube stuff or what have you, but I was doing a still photography at that time. I was in Rabat. They had a march in Rabat, in Boulevard Mohamed Khamis. I have my camera, I started filming around, not filming, but point and shoot. That's the time I used to do still photography. I took a lot of pictures, but the place was swamped with an undercover police. They came and asked me, pretending to be, that's how it is. The problem in Tunisia is coming here. What do I do? What newspaper I work for? I said, no, I don't work for nobody. I'm just a tourist. I'm just going about my business. Suddenly I saw that. That's why I'm not that stupid. I'm not even a reporter anyway. So if anybody who knows the background of Arab Spring, you will never come here to try to scrap a penny to go to Europe, because you're never gonna get it. I mean, how will you get $5,000 by begging people on the street in Morocco or menial job, the job the Moroccan or Tunisian themselves wouldn't do it, to get 5, 6, $7,000 out of that penny to try to go to. Why don't you go home and recoup and come back? Nope. For them, is a failure. So I talked to some African, all off camera. They told me it's embarrassing to them because this young man even put it, he has to dress every day nicely to not be looked down on the people here, because as a black person, they think we are all the same. Me personally, even I had a lot of snobbish attitude toward me when I went to restaurants. Not in Morocco, and it didn't happen in Morocco, but it happened in Tunisia. Tunisia are the nastiest people in whole Northern Africa, period. The coolest, laid-back, nasty people. But, I had some different instances when I went to a shop. Actually, I went to a restaurant, asked the guy for a menu because I wanted to eat. One looked at me, he didn't want to get up, he didn't want to tell him anything. He just literally with the menu, telling me all this menu. I said, no, do you have a menu I see in print? Because I'm a visual poet, I want to see everything in a picture, graphic. That's why I choose my meal by looking at the picture. Forget about food description, I don't understand none of those. He wouldn't get up, he said no. I said, but you have the menu? He said, yes, he does have it. I said, but why didn't you show it to me? I insisted, I said, well, I'm not gonna let until you show the menu. So he literally launched up on the cupboard and got the menu, put it in front of me. So I understood his behavior. So I said to myself, I'm gonna piss him off as much as I can. I look at the menu. I said, I don't know. I said, thank you very much, and walked out. The second instance, I go to a coffee shop. I asked the guy for a tea, again in Tunisia. The guy, he asked me, you only want tea? I said, yeah, it's a coffee shop for God's sake. They don't sell food. He said, well, he's not gonna sell me a tea without me spending almost 30 dinar. I said, but why? He said, but because I need to have something else before he can serve me. Because in their mind, they're wasting time on me. Maybe I cannot afford it. That's the thing. And literally 3 hours later, and the first place in the restaurant, and the guy who refused to show me the menu, I found out he has almost 5 Sub-Saharan African guys working for him in the kitchen. That's why he thought I was somebody who's begging on the street. So why would he waste his time on me? The tea guy, literally, I went around and came back. I found out he had 3 guys waiting for him in the same restaurant too. So for him, I'm just a beggar on the street. Why would he waste time on me? You see? Because the image they see of African guy begging on the street, they multiply that to every African. We know white people. A French person would do something, it will stop right on the French guy. A Hispanic guy will do something, will stop on the Hispanic guy. Italian does it, but if a Sub-Saharan African does one thing, it multiplies across the board. So that's mean we all do the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. The image is everything. So, but those people, they don't care about those images. They keep begging people on the street, on the car. I literally capture some of them while filming by coincidence. I'm in the taxi because I always let my camera run while I'm in taxi or I'm in any car because I want to capture as much picture as I can. Capture some of the video. You see it right now. Look at it. Anyway, don't respect yourself. If you cannot go back home and recoup, and you are here. And by the way, also I see a lot of them. They're pushing bread in the cart in almost 45 degrees in Tunis. I've seen that in Morocco too. This job Moroccan or Tunisian will never do. A bread pushing the cart. How much can you get? Maybe a dime. That's why these taxi drivers, they keep asking me what's going on in Sub-Saharan Africa. They're here doing some menial job. This cab driver he will never ever allow his son, even people who knows the job they do here, he will never allow his son to do similar job. It not only is demeaning, it's embarrassing, but I guess they don't give a damn. But they say this is the Arab saying, "Woman la yattaqi shatma yushtami." I'm gonna repeat again. It's mean "Woman la yattaqi shatma yushtami." If you don't care of being insulted, you will be insulted every single day. The black in America understood that long time ago. That's why they refuse a lot of roles in the movie industry, because if it does not reflect on the society in general, they will not do it. They will not take it, because it's called the self-respect. I saw a French lady who asked me when I told him I live in America. He said to me, "Oh, how come all the black Americans they're all lawyers and judges?" You see, that is a good stereotype, because in now the TV series, the soap operas, most of the black role they're all judges, they're all lawyers. That's what kind of representation we need. But those desperate Africans, they don't care about those kind of things. Literally, some of those guys are physically built. Literally, they can run 300 trucks faster than me, but they're begging penny on the street. There's no train station I haven't gone. No train station in Morocco. No train station in Tunisia. They're not camping there. Like right across the street from the train station, they're camping. So when I come around trying to buy something, then you get nasty attitude from a server who is behind a counter, because he think maybe you camping on that park too. So no sweat in their face, they giving nasty attitude. They even surprised when you give them money to try to buy whatever you need to try. So, I feel sorry for the average African guy who are living in those cities, and trying to maneuver, being looked at nice and trying to be as a beggar on the street. This young man told me in Rabat, anytime he get out, he makes sure he is dressed very well. Because he said one time he got lost in one of the streets in Rabat. He asked this woman he stopped this woman, he want to ask for direction. She took off. And he got so offended, he literally ran after the lady. He said, "I'm not begging you for money. I want a direction. I don't want your money. I want to know where this is." She said, "Okay, good. I thought you trying to, looking for money." I said, No. I am looking for a direction." So, if you compare that to years ago when I used to come here, when there was only few Africans around back in the mid 80s, all the way to mid 90s, I mean, the sub-Saharan African have been looked at really well. They used to call sub-Saharan African Jama'al Dol Nas Kubar Kubar. That's in the Moroccan dialect. Jama'al Dol Nas Kubar Kubar. They call me this sub-Saharan African. They are very important people. Because the few here that were only students or entrepreneurs or business people who are coming from Mali, Senegal, or Ivory Coast to buy goods and return, or they study here, they graduated, they have their businesses, electronics, and I know many Africans here who are I've known them for years. They got electronic business, accounting businesses. So back then, but now, there's so many Africans, they're so desperate to go to cross that ocean straight to El Khasiras, then to make to make a new life. They're stranded here. The middlemen stole all their money, so they do a whole kind of odd jobs rather than going back home and recoup and come back. Nope, they don't want to do that because for them it will be too embarrassed for them. But they don't care if they're embarrassed here. Representation is everything, Habibi. Representation. If you represent yourself well, people respect you. If you don't respect yourself, nobody will respect you. That is my rant, to the sub-Saharan African community who are trying to cross, and they beg. They're sleeping rough on the street, literally, in the park, under the bridge, on the sidewalk. It's even embarrassing sometimes. I go to a coffee shop, right across from the coffee shop, you see somebody sleeping rough. And some of them, they're very young, between 21 and 25. I know back home, their family is not desperate, they're not that poor, because whoever can get 5, 6, 7,000 from Ivory Coast or from Mali, from Senegal to come here, trust me, you can stay home and do your own business over there. But no, it's greed, because they think with that $5,000, $7,000, you go to Italy, you go to France, you go to Spain, within a week, you're gonna quadruple that to make 20,000. Habibi, you live in Europe, you live in America. How much do you have in your saving? How long does it take you to save $2,000, $3,000? I'm gonna end my rant with saying, "Woman la yataki shatma yushtami." So I hope the sub-Saharan African who are camping on the street understand that. If you cannot make it, just go home. If you cannot make it, just go home, recoup, and come back, rather than pushing bread on the court, sleeping rough, begging Moroccan and Tunisian for penny, which you will not. You can spend 10 years begging on the street. You'll never make it to Spain with that penny, because here they count money with centime, or we call it here penny, not with dirham or dinar. They count money. They will rob you even if it's 20 penny. They will rob you with that. So I don't know, what they're thinking, but it's a bad advice being given to them from a lot of people from over the sea, also from their friends, from their family members, rather than staying home and with $5,000-7,000 you're gonna spend it, give it to the middleman, invest it in some corner shop, anywhere, and then you turn around and say the Arab are racist because you've been working under them, they teach you so bad, and then you complain they're racist. Of course, a human being, forget about being Arab, forget about being European, forget about being African. If you give a chance, a human being a chance to abuse you, you will be abused every single day. It doesn't matter what color you are. Human being, we're born like that. You have to respect yourself. There's something you cannot do. If otherwise you give a human being a chance to abuse you, you will be abused every day. وَمَنْ لَا يَتَقِي الشَّتْمَ يُشْتَمِ. Okay, then I'm gonna end up with this rant. I hope people understand what I'm saying. Definitely, some troll will find a loophole what I'm saying to attack me. Habibi, bring it on. It doesn't mean anything to me. I just say anything I see. I'm a visual person. I saw it. That's what I'm talking about. Man la yataqi shatma yushtami.